Scott, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Sam, Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles CMF. You well? I'm doing great, Sam. Jason, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, how you been? Hey, Miles, Bert, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi from Malaysia. Shakira, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Evening, brother Miles. Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Ghost brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hello, CMF. Sulu, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Ian, good to see you as well. Evening, how you doing? How you been? Thanks, God. I appreciate you asking. Let's go, Scott. Hi, Miles and CMF. JP, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? How you doing, Miles? I'm doing great. Theos, how you been? Dale, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, CMF family. Let's go, funky brother. Hi, Miles and family. Alex, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Autistic, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well, brother. How you been? How are you feeling, brother Miles? I'm feeling great. Fantastic. Thank you. Let's go, JP. So let's do a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about on tonight's episode of CMF Live. By the way, we're on episode 222, which is incredible. Honestly, incredible. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about on tonight's live. We're going to be talking about the SEC in terms of a person that should not be working at the SEC, but the voting is coming up as if she's going to work for the SEC or not. So that's what we're going to talk about first on tonight's live, about the SEC. And then we're going to be talking about Rep. French Hill, essentially, as the new chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. Rep. French Hill is quite pro-crypto, so it's great to see him as the new, essentially, chairman. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live regarding a company by the name of Nano Labs. Nano Labs Limited is expanding its Bitcoin holdings to strengthen market positions. So we're going to talk about that on tonight's live. More companies are deciding to, take up the whole idea of a crypto portfolio, you could say, following the footsteps of essentially MicroStrategy. We're also going to be talking about El Salvador and Argentina. Now, recently we talked about El Salvador and Argentina doing some sort of a partnership together inside the crypto space. But now, however, El Salvador and Argentina are expanding their partnership with 25 different countries. So we're going to talk about that on tonight's live as well. It's all crypto related. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding Portal, essentially. Portal joining forces with Bitfinex to bridge Bitcoin and bring it into the DeFi space. So now Bitcoin does have its difficulties. It's difficult to build on Bitcoin. Most projects that are built on Bitcoin were scrapped due to the network being congested, and Bitcoin is more of better as an asset, as a risk-off asset. But there's been many attempts to bring Bitcoin into the DeFi space and use it for payments and so on. So we're going to talk about that on tonight's live as well, because one company has decided to give some features to Bitcoin's network and connect it to the Ethereum chain through an EVM. So we'll go through that on tonight's live. We're also going to be talking about more United States, essentially states coming through and creating some sort of a Bitcoin reserve. Now, we've talked about Bitcoin reserves in the United States due to Donald Trump mentioning it once, and also a congressman coming forward and making a Bitcoin Act, for example. But we're going to talk about that more because we have some detailed information about a particular states inside the United States that are actually getting very close to a Bitcoin reserve. We're also going to go through BlackRock news on tonight's live. BlackRock has released a new report. So we're going to go through what their report states on the crypto space. We're going to be talking about the world's largest digital asset manager announcing a fund with 2 surprise altcoins. I'll reveal which those essentially surprising altcoins are for this new asset manager. We're also going to be talking about Valar on tonight's live. Valar has decided to add 20 crypto ETPs in the Swedish, essentially, stock exchange. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live. We're also going to be talking about BlackRock and Fidelity investing $500 million into Ethereum through Coinbase together. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding USDT. As we all know, we are getting very close essentially to the MiCA regulations, and USDT is on the verge of being delisted from a multitude of exchanges due to the MiCA regulations for the Europe zone. So we're going to talk about USDT once again because Coinbase is another exchange that has just announced they're going to be delisting USDT in the EU market space. We're also going to go through news topics like Brian quits, essentially seeking CFTC leadership role. Now, we do know that, Gary Gensler is resigning January 20th, but what about the CFTC chairmanship? Is somebody going to be replacing the CFTC chairman? By the looks of it, yes. Even though the previous chairman, Rostam Benham, was, slightly skeptic against cryptocurrencies, but over time he became in favor of cryptocurrencies. It also seems like he's getting replaced as well by somebody nominated from Trump's side. We're also going to be talking about one of Australia's companies coming forward and creating a crypto portfolio. So we talk about that on tonight's live as well. We're going to be talking about Trump essentially doubling down on the crypto space and Wall Street ambitions. And we're going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding, will Coinbase overtake Charles Schwab's, which is impressive if Coinbase does that. Honestly, if Coinbase is able to overtake Charles Schwab's on the public market space, incredible. There's a perspective that's coming from Bitwise, essentially saying that Coinbase's stocks are going to go through the roof over time. It's definitely something for everyone to look into. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live regarding Ripple Labs. In other words, is RL USD getting close to opening their floodgates? So before we go through any of these news topics like RL USD or essentially Charles Schwab's or Coinbase or BlackRock or Fidelity or Valar, all the new essentially reports coming out, I just want to say to everyone, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations. And by the way, this is episode 222 of the CMF Live, which is incredible, to be fairly honest. We also do live Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, and if you're a regular, let's go CMF. I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much to everyone that's retweeted this live as well on X. Thanks so much to everyone that's retweeted, liked, and put a comment outside the video on X. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's liking this video as well. I'm getting notifications from both sides, YouTube and X, for everyone that's retweeting and liking this live right now. Okay, before we go through the first news, which is relatable to the SEC, let's go straight into the comment section first, and then we go straight into the first news. So let's see where we were at. We were at here. Hello, Miles and CMF on YouTube. Scott, let's go. Yama, good to see you as well. How you doing? Dennis, hi, Miles and CMF family. Good to see you as well. Dennis, how you doing? Any good news for us today? Quite a bit, actually, to be fairly honest. The world is adjusting to the idea of cryptocurrencies even more now because of Trump, which is excellent news. Ross, good evening, Miles and CMF. Ring forever. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Evening, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Joe, how you doing? How you been? Morning, Miles and CMF. Solomon, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi. Do you think they're doing that on purpose with Bitcoin because they have the technology? So my question is why they have not done it before with Bitcoin, or is it according to reasoning? Regarding why they keep on adding features to Bitcoin and then taking it away, it's because every time they try to build something on Bitcoin, it always goes south. The idea of creating games on Bitcoin was actually a thing a while ago. They were trying to, bring some Bitcoin games into the space. It didn't really work out. Bitcoin's network was congested, so they scrapped the whole idea. And then they tried Bitcoin Bitcoin NFTs. That didn't really work either. They scrapped it completely. And then they tried Bitcoin Lightning Network. It works up to a certain extent. And now they're trying Bitcoin smart contract features and so on through an EVM, essentially through Ethereum. But on the idea of why they haven't done it, why they haven't added these features before, they've added quite a lot of features, but it was all terrible. It just makes the network, Bitcoin's network, congested, very congested, which never works out. Talk, good to see as well. How you doing? How you been? And is it essentially coordinated in some sort of way? Maybe. I would have to say good evening, Miles, and a bit late, but I'll watch it again tomorrow anyways. Adi, good to see you. So how you doing, evening? Share the live. Let's go. Episode 222. Hello, Miles and CMF. Golden Dragon, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Did you get on the Hack2 coin? No, I did not get involved in the Hack2 coin, whatever the project was. I don't go for meme coins. I only go for legitimate assets, mainly because we're getting very close to rules and regulations and one of the biggest market spaces in the world, the United States. And the money from institutions, the next clientele entering the crypto space is going to be institutions. So institutional money is not going to be going towards Hack2 coin, so there's no point positioning there. It's going to go towards much more legitimate assets. They're going to benefit from rules and regulations coming in. So no, I didn't go for that coin at all. And I never will. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Denise, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? JP has always said about Coinbase, he said it was a great one to watch, price going up. He did. That's true. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Denise, let's go. How you doing? Miles, some influencers saying pump for HBAR XRP, a lot done now, just less chance go high. A lot of influencers are saying that the pump for XRP and HBAR is done and there's no point. Well, those influencers are talking out their ass. Be fairly honest. The pump for XRP is nowhere near done. We still have RL USD, which is going to bring some excitement inside the market space for XRP. If it's pegged, it's going to have direct value to XRP. If it's not pegged, it's going to add indirect value to XRP because of the chain. And then we also have rules and regulations coming in. We have the Ripple case being dismissed or settled in 2025, which is going to add more exposure to XRP. XRP being regulated alongside Bitcoin. And then we have the rules and regulations of institutional money coming in when essentially companies like Ripple are able to even expand further on inside. So the topic of the pump for XRP or HBAR was done is a ridiculous and stupid topic to be even talking about. To be fairly honest, I don't know why some moronic influencers are telling people that the pump for XRP is done and there's no more. XRP is just getting warmed up, the simplest way to put it. No, my question was, sorry, I worded it wrong. Okay. Do you think they're holding back so you can't build on it? Man, it's more of an asset to hold. Does that make sense? Yes, it's more of an asset to hold is what I've always said. Yes, it does make sense. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? In other times, they're holding on to the idea of building on the Bitcoin because they prefer Bitcoin to stay as an asset on the sidelines, as a risk-off asset. Yes, makes a lot more sense. Now, first news on tonight's live. Interest groups are calling on U.S. Senate to confirm the Caroline Crenshaw to the SEC. So Caroline Crenshaw is not a good person inside the SEC. She's always been against crypto assets, very spiteful towards the crypto community. And she's, there's a voting going on right now on the basis of is she still going to keep her job or is she going to be fired, alongside Gary Gensler resigning January 20th. So consumer advocacy organization Public Citizen and other interest groups are urging lawmakers in the United States to act and confirm Caroline Crenshaw to a second term at the essentially Securities and Exchange Commission before the next Congress is sworn in. A letter that was sent out to the U.S. Senate, more than 40 organizations asked lawmakers vote yes on Caroline Crenshaw's nomination, which could have her working at the SEC until 2029. The Senate Banking Committee was expected to decide on the SEC commissioner nomination on December 11th, but before a postponement, having many questions whether lawmakers have enough time to confirm Crenshaw in the current session of Congress. At stake is the reality of the SEC, said the letter. The incoming Trump administration has signaled they are considering breaking the tradition that provides for the opposition party to select candidates for 2 minority seats. Crenshaw, a Democratic, was initially nominated for term expiring in June 2024, but she's allowed to continue working at the SEC until the end of 2025. With President-elect Donald Trump expected to integrate regarding around January 20th, and new members of Congress, essentially with the Republican majority being sworn in around January 3rd, Democrats have a very narrow window of opportunity to confirm the SEC commissioner while they hold the Senate. Trump made the firing Gary Gensler one of his central campaign promises to the crypto industry, and after the presidential elections, the SEC chairman announced that he will step down regarding January 20th times. Commissioner essentially Jamie is also planning to leave the SEC on January 17th, leaving Crenshaw as a potentially the sole remaining Democrat at the agency. The sole remaining Democrat at the agency is essentially Crenshaw, Caroline Crenshaw, and she should also be fired as well because she's the one that's been stifling crypto. Everybody knows Gary Gensler because he's the SEC chairman, and they see everything bad that comes out of the SEC is all Gary Gensler's fault. And in a way, it is all Gary Gensler's fault. But there are people who worked alongside Gary Gensler who are also spiteful towards cryptocurrencies, and they're all leaving with Gary Gensler, similar timing. Except Caroline Crenshaw. She wants to be voted in again to have another term. She should be fired, in my opinion. Trump made essentially many in the crypto industry have been calling on senators to oppose the Crenshaw nomination, with some claiming she was more anti-crypto than Gary Gensler, believe it or not. Crenshaw voted against SEC approvals of the Bitcoin ETF. She voted no for Bitcoin ETFs. And according to the SEC, to ensure that the commissions remain non-partisan, no more than 3 commissioners may belong to the same political party. However, if this practice is not a regulation or a law, there is no guarantee Trump will abide by this tradition, as he has shown essentially for breaking norms inside the government. Sherrod Brown, who chairs the Senate Banking Committee overseeing Crenshaw's nomination, had not suggested a timeline for introducing the vote at the time of publication. Following the departure of the Gensler essentially and Jamie in January, Republicans Hester Peirce and Mark will be among the 3 remaining SEC commissioners. Crenshaw is pretty much the last one left inside the SEC. Gary Gensler is leaving. Jamie is leaving, who worked alongside Gary Gensler, who's also anti-crypto. Caroline Crenshaw was the other person that was also anti-crypto. She voted no against Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, and most likely no against Ethereum ETFs. So she's the only one left. Now, Congress is supposed to be voting on her, essentially. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Is she staying or not? Now, if they take too much time to vote on her, Trump will come in January 20th, and she will never have a chance of working in the SEC, which is amazing. So I hope they waste time in Congress on purpose so that that one Democrat left in the SEC gets fired and never comes back. Because Caroline Crenshaw is the only one still standing inside the SEC who has a higher up seat and is stifling crypto innovation inside the United States. So I hope they waste time as much as possible so she gets fired also. Honestly, we don't need people like this in the SEC. We need innovation inside America. We need money pouring in from institutions into the blockchain space. That's what we need, not someone like Caroline Crenshaw, one person trying to stifle an entire industry or an entire country. So I hope she gets fired and they waste time as much as possible for Trump to come in and definitely fire her. Now, talking about essentially Congress and rep members and so on, we have another one, but this one's pro-crypto, which is French Hill. Rep. French Hill is the new chair of the House Financial Services Committee. Rep. French Hill has won the Republican race to become the next chair of the U.S. House Financial Services Committee, which is incredible news. Crypto-friendly Hill essentially defeated Rep. Andy Barr and essentially many other members and Bill of Michigan to secure the vote as the next chairman of the influential committee space. Hill will now lead the House efforts on cryptocurrency regulations, which is incredible because French Hill has always been in favor of bringing some sort of rules and regulations for cryptocurrencies, but it's always been rejected in the past because the Biden administration was stifling rules and regulations and the SEC stifling rules and regulations. French Hill tried to create the stablecoin rules and regulations, but it never got passed. He tried to create some sort of a Bitcoin law, but it never got passed. He tried to create so many laws for crypto assets, but none of them passed. But now they can, because now he has a much more higher seat, also as a Republican. So Hill will now lead the House efforts on cryptocurrency legislations, banking policies, housing, and other financial services. He's sitting in the most amazing position right now. His leadership comes as the pro-crypto administration of President Donald Trump seeks to reshape the U.S. approach to digital assets beginning in January. Hill will succeed retiring House officials. Financial Services Committee's chairman, Patrick McHenry, has expressed intentions to investigate debanking allegations affecting the digital asset industry. The outgoing chairman, Patrick McHenry, played a role in Congress stablecoin regulation bills and the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, known as FIT21 bill. The House of Representatives voted to adapt FIT21 in May, a move widely celebrated by the crypto industry. The market structure bill is expected to bring greater regulatory clarity to digital asset space. And amidst the ongoing jurisdictional battles between the US SEC and the CFTC, Trump's elections has already prompted significant changes, which essentially many observers see as a turning point for the crypto policy inside the US. The anti-crypto stance on Joe Biden's administration is expected to fade into the background. The SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, said it's essentially stepping aside January 20th, and Trump has selected the crypto-friendly Paul Atkins to replace him. And additionally, there are changes underway for the CFTC chairman as well, which we're going to talk about more on tonight's live. And reports also indicate that the former commissioner, Brian Quartz, is poised to become the next CFTC chairman. Trump's team is also reportedly considering CFTC as the regulator for crypto. So yes, moving forward, it's not just going to be the SEC making the, it's not just going to be the SEC having the loudest voice when it comes to crypto regulations and policies inside the United States. The CFTC is also going to have as much as a loud voice the SEC will have. And yes, we are getting a new SEC chairman who is pro-crypto, amazing. But we're also getting a new CFTC chairman who's also pro-crypto as well, amazing. And they're both going to be working alongside each other. No more the CFTC and the SEC going, butting heads together, because Rostam Benham, the current CFTC chairman, and Gary Gensler, still the current chairman of the SEC, have always been butting heads against each other. One was pro-crypto, one was negative against cryptos, and so on. But Patrick essentially McHenry leaving and French Hill taking his position, and French Hill being in charge inside the United States for crypto regulations, for housing policies, for banking committees, is incredible, because this man is pro-crypto head to toe. He wants to make America great again. He wants to bring rules and regulations in. So honestly, one of the most amazing news we could have possibly heard inside the United States for the crypto space entirely. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Moving on, essentially from French Hill being chosen as the next chairman, we're going to be talking about Nano Labs. But before we talk about Nano Labs, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section, and then we go straight into Nano Labs, which is, by the way, a Chinese company that's getting involved inside the Bitcoin space. Miles, how do you feel on the regs before price for XRP? How do I feel? Mike, good to see you. How you doing? Golden Dragon, elaborate regarding the reg. Comatose, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? We mount AVAX holding us for futures. AVAX is a great project as well. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. How you been? Pierce, Miles, do you see a 3-digit per XRP in 2025 to 2026? Very possible, yes. More money, good to see you as well. How you doing? What's my take on GIA? I haven't looked into it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what they're trying to achieve or what their licensings are, or if they have any all sort of partnerships. I can take a look at their more money and get back to you if you want. Miles, why ACH slow move and low position and ranking? Well, because not enough money is flooding into it, but they do have the correct licenses to move forward. And that's more depending on rules and regulations coming in. Even Miles and CMF, Money, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Stormy, how you doing? Hi, Miles and CMF, how you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Peg, hi, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Peg, how you doing? Good evening. What are your thoughts on Algorand? Richard, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? Algorand, good project. Will have a good future ahead of itself under rules and regulations. I wouldn't say it's a must-have. There are much more must-have projects, especially XRP, XLM, XDC, and H1 inside the financial category, going into rules and regulations. But Algorand is a good project. There's no bad about it. Also, Algorand is in partnership with Deutsche Bank, and Deutsche Bank is creating some sort of a stable coin they're working on together. This partnership came around about 4 months ago in the EU market space. The United States is going to take the crypto world to the next level. Facts, what JP has just said. Regulations before price for XRP. What's the price of XRP going to be before regulations coming in? Consider variable change. Happy Pisces, good to see you as well. How you doing? Don, good evening, brother. Good to see you as well. How you doing? But what's the price of XRP going to be before the regulations come in? What's it saying now? 2 something. So 2, 3 should be. And then when we go into regulations is when we see it really shine much more further. Or when RL USD gets launched, the excitement will be behind it. Or if it's pegged to it, direct value. If it's not pegged to it, indirect value. But what I can say is don't look for short-term prices on XRP. Long-term prices is what you want to be looking forward to, because they're going to be exceptionally amazing, to be fairly honest. Now, Nano Labs is a private company, a Chinese private company, who is now getting involved in the Bitcoin space. Well, let's starting off with Bitcoin, to be fairly honest. Nano Labs Limited, a fabulous integrated circuit design company based in China. Now, again, this is because of Donald Trump. As I said previously, everybody's going to be following America's footsteps. So a company based out in China has just announced today that it's going to be acquiring Bitcoin. This announcement aligns with the company's ongoing efforts to expand its cryptocurrency investments and streak initiatives. Nano Labs holds approximately 360 Bitcoins valued at around $36.22 million. The company confirmed that the average acquisition cost of its Bitcoin's assets, include transaction fees, is around $99,700 per Bitcoin they're buying it at. The purchase was conducted through Hashkey Exchange, a licensed virtual asset exchange based out in Hong Kong. The company stated that this move is consistent with its long-term strategies aimed at participating in the evolving digital economy. Nano Labs' announcements come during a renowned interest in Bitcoin. Recently, Bitcoin has bounced back to around $102,000. This increase is linked to the expectations of possible interest rate cuts by the Fed following the annual inflation reports showing 2.7% inflation. The Federal Reserve is also anticipated to announce further interest rate cuts at its essentially upcoming policy meetings, and spectators predict essentially a quarter-point cut, but there is also the possibility of the Fed that may pause cuts in January to assess the economic impacts of previous adjustments. But while Nano Labs is investing in Bitcoin, Microsoft shareholders also voted against it, and increasing its Bitcoin investments is seen as a strict move by Nano Labs to strengthen its position in the digital asset market space. The recent private share placements and payable flexibility practices support its financial stability and contribute to the achieving growth objectives. Rising Bitcoin prices and overall market conditions are expected to positively influence Nano Labs' future performance in the cryptocurrency sector. Okay, what I'm mostly, essentially intrigued about this news is not, their first purchase of around essentially $36 million. Good. But what I'm mostly interested about this news is it's a Chinese company based in China that's buying Bitcoin. You see, the impression is changing from China, where Chinese companies that are based in China, not a Chinese company that's based in America or a Chinese company that's based in Canada, it's a Chinese company based in China that's buying Bitcoin and following the footsteps of MicroStrategy. The only reason this is even happening, again, is because of Trump, because the American market space is about to become the capital of cryptocurrencies, and even Chinese companies don't want to get left behind. As I said previously, everybody's going to follow. Every company, every bank, every jurisdiction is going to follow America's footsteps, and the amount of money that's going to be pouring inside the market space is going to be incredible. Now, moving on from Nano Labs to El Salvador. El Salvador partners with Argentina and it plans digital asset deals, which I've reviewed before. El Salvador and Argentina going back to back, creating some sort of cryptocurrency partnership for rules and regulations between their two nations. Well, something else has happened between El Salvador and Argentina, which is the deal is also with 25 plus other countries. 25 more countries are now involved in the contract deal between Argentina and El Salvador for this whole blockchain portfolio and rules and regulations. El Salvador, the first country to make Bitcoin a legal tender, is partnering with Argentina to create digital asset regulations. This move is part of El Salvador's plan to collaborate with over 25 countries, sharing expertise to build effective crypto regulations in Latin American countries. Juan, the president of El Salvador's National Essential Commission of Digital Assets, and Roberto, president of Argentina's National Securities Commission, has signed a mutual agreement. This focus on regulations and innovations within the digital asset sector. Reyes mentioned essentially the potentials of this collaboration, saying Argentina's innovative blockchain industry combined with El Salvador's essentially technological expertise will result in a highly productive partnership space. Argentina already has essentially companies registered in El Salvador, demonstrating this alliance practical benefits. Reyes also highlighted that El Salvador's 3 years of experience in the digital asset regulation provide a strong advantage in guiding other countries, Latin American countries, in coming inside the crypto space. El Salvador isn't stopping essentially with Argentina. Talks are on the way with over 25 countries for similar agreements. 25 countries are coming together for crypto regulations and policies. Majority of them are Latin American countries. Reyes stressed the importance of cross-border collaborations to essentially elaborate crypto adoptions and global regulations. Just to point out, once again, Trump has not even taken his seat yet, which is around January 20th. And the world is already shifting towards digital assets even further. where 25 countries are coming together to create crypto regulations and policies. Because they know when Trump takes his seat, America is on the way to becoming the capital hub of cryptocurrencies. And no country wants to be left behind from the American market space. America's market space is the biggest market space in the entire world. And nobody wants to be left behind. Not a single country, not a single business, not a single institution, not a single bank. Everybody wants to get involved. And it's showing signs already, where 25 countries are coming together and going, we need to bring some regulations in because America is about to take off. He said our experiences essentially has shown that cross-border knowledge is sharing essential for creating a safe and effective regulatory environment, and we encourage our regulators to prioritize this approach. El Salvador has assembled a 20-member team of Bitcoin and crypto experts to ensure effective collaborations. Their goal is to assist other nations in establishing essentially a clear and effective regulation to prevent scams and money launderings in this industry. While El Salvador has faced criticism for its bold Bitcoin initiatives, such as making the cryptocurrency legal tender, the country has essentially gained valuable experiences. The knowledge that is now being leveraged to support other nations is building a well-regulated crypto market space. El Salvador is nearing a final agreements with 2 more countries as a part of their broader strategy from the 25 list of countries. Raise believes sharing experiences across borders is essential to creating a safe and effective environment for digital assets. Argentina's president, essentially Javier, has supported cryptocurrencies in tackling inflation and also making the country an ideal partner. Raise has praised Argentina's high adoption rates and innovation in the blockchain ecosystem, calling it a significant reason of collaboration. This agreement sets the stage for further regional cooperations, innovation, and knowledge sharing to build a strong digital asset industry in Latin American countries. As El Salvador forms a global partnership, including with Argentina, to strengthen crypto adoption and establish as a leader in digital asset regulations and innovations, 25 countries are coming on board. 25 countries are coming on board, which is incredible. Honestly, it's definitely showing signs that the world is shifting more and more towards the digital space. And again, it's all because of Trump. The amount of money that's going to be pouring inside the crypto space in 2025 is crazy. Absolutely crazy. The market space is going to go absolutely ballistic, to be fairly honest. Because he hasn't even taken his seat yet. Trump is coming to take his seat January 20th. And there are already countries lining up, signing deals, bringing regulations, creating crypto portfolios. We have American states who are barred from the idea of bringing in any sort of Bitcoin acts or Bitcoin reserve assets because of the SEC, because of Gary Gensler, because of the FDIC chairman, because of essentially Senator Elizabeth Warren using Wall Street articles saying, in front of Congress, cryptos for criminals, cryptos for money laundering, cryptos for illicit activities. Because of those things, the world wasn't moving, but now it is. And it looks like the world is not going to be slowing down at all. Because when you have essentially Chinese companies, China's banned Bitcoin, it's banned crypto assets. Now, there was one court ruling in China that saw that some crypto assets can be classified as property, but that's about it. But now we have Chinese companies creating Bitcoin reserves, following the footsteps of MicroStrategy. It's all because of Trump. The world is about to follow America's footsteps. It's going to be incredible. Especially when you have 25 countries, majority of them Latin American countries, signing crypto regulation policies because they don't want to get left behind from America. Now, on the topic of Bitcoin and so on, Bitcoin has always had some difficulties, and those difficulties were it doesn't really offer much except a limited supply. Now, people inside the Bitcoin space will tell you Bitcoin is everything, Bitcoin is all you need. It was a load of BS. Bitcoin, the only thing it brings to the table, if you just want to use basic logic and common sense, the only thing Bitcoin brings to the table is a limited token supply, which makes it a scarce asset, which makes it a good asset because it's never going to be produced again. So, the value will go up as much as there is demand for it, the value will go up. And because it's limited, it can run out, which means the value will go even further higher. But that's the only thing that it brings to the table, a limited supply. Well, there has been attempts to add NFTs on the Bitcoin network, which it got completely scrapped by Binance because they said the Bitcoin network is too congested and it can't do NFTs. They tried to introduce Bitcoin gaming. That got scrapped also because the network for Bitcoin got congested. They tried to introduce some other features on Bitcoin's network. Majority of them were scrapped. The only one that stayed around up to a certain extent is the Lightning network. The Bitcoin Lightning network is what stayed around, but nobody really uses it, to be fairly honest. And the other thing that they're trying to add to Bitcoin is this. Portal joins forces with Bitfini to bridge Bitcoin into the world of DeFi. Portal, the industry's first custodial-less cross-chain solution for Bitcoin, has partnered with Bitfini Network for creating the next-gen Ethereum virtual machine EVM for Bitcoin. This newly formed partnership seeks to change how Bitcoin and other blockchains can easily connect to the DeFi application space. As for now, Bitfini combined its technology with Portal, a company that is trying to fill its gaps inside the crypto space and increase the functionalities of Bitcoin in the DeFi space. Portal's technology is essentially geared towards cross-chain swaps with no intermediaries whatsoever, and where the asset is transferred from one blockchain to another without needing a third party. On the same note, Bitfini presents a fast and essentially inexpensible EVM integrated Bitcoin network to unlock sophisticated smart contracts and solutions on Bitcoin's network. Together, they are set to deliver a solution that will further enable the adoption of Bitcoin into the DeFi-related essentially sectors. This partnership is one of the most significant steps towards successfully implementing the distributed ledger technology known as blockchain. For many years, the capabilities of Bitcoin as a DeFi asset was rather constrained by the inability to integrate it with other blockchains. This collaboration between Portal cross-chain infrastructure and Bitfini EVM compatibility means that Bitcoin can easily run with the DeFi sphere, including getting loans, borrowing, and yield farming from Bitcoin. So this is where it's leading up to. They want to do borrowing, lending, smart contract features on Bitcoin's network, but through an EVM, a super EVM, they're calling a next generation EVM, connecting it to Ethereum's chain, giving Bitcoin features like next generation smart contract capabilities, or essentially borrowing and lending services on the Bitcoin network. Both platforms are supported by professionals working in related fields. Portal has official partnerships like Coinbase and OKX as investors, essentially, whereas Bitfini has sources from Polychain Capital and Parify Capital. So it's basically two VC companies are funding Portal to do this on Bitcoin, and two VC companies are essentially funding Bitfini to do this essentially on Bitcoin as well. Such financial streak support makes this essentially credible in their endeavor to disrupt the blockchain connectivity and in the process enhance Bitcoin's adoption. This synergy will open up many possibilities for developers, companies, and people who use cryptocurrencies. It means that developers can create the EVM of Bitfini and use the liquidity and security of Bitcoin simultaneously. For users, the integration strengthens the use of DeFi features without needing users to shift out of Bitcoin's domain, thus minimizing complications and vulnerabilities. This move is an emerging trend towards the interoperability of blockchain's world. Integrating multiple platforms to work towards the solution of cross-hub has reduced the barriers of different blockchains. This trend helps create new ideas and provide fans of cryptocurrencies with new features for integrating with crypto financial assets. Together with Portal, Bitfini has essentially demonstrated that what the future of blockchain developments will look like. In fact, by integrating Bitcoin into decentralized finance, they're exploring its untouched opportunities and promoting the use of decentralized financial ecosystems. 4 VC companies are involved in this matter, 2 supporting Portal, 2 supporting Bitfini, to bring some sort of features into Bitcoin's network, because Bitcoin is lacking features, and it really is. But if you talk to somebody that's Bitcoin for life, they will tell you Bitcoin is everything, Bitcoin doesn't need anything, Bitcoin is number one, if you talk to people like that. But in reality, Bitcoin doesn't have everything. Bitcoin's only feature is limited supply. Bitcoin is slow, expensive, and congested. And that's the reality. So 4 VC companies have come together to say, well, we can fix Bitcoin. We can make it faster. We can make it cheaper. We can bring lending, borrowing, next generation smart contract features on Bitcoin. Let's see how that all goes. Because we've heard it before and it never went well. I know companies that have tried to bring some sort of next generation smart contracts on Bitcoin, didn't really go too well. NFTs didn't really go too well. Gaming didn't really go too well on Bitcoin. Nothing went well, to be fairly honest. Now, moving on from these 4 VC companies, and by the way, there are 2 companies that are blockchain companies that they don't have any tokens about. Bitfini and Portal are both of them. And if you want to go check them out, go check them out. But they don't have any sort of tokens whatsoever, but they are blockchain companies funded by VC companies. Now, moving on essentially from the Bitcoin capabilities to the United States of America. The states inside the US are now obviously be thinking about Bitcoin reserves. Now, we've talked about some states in America talking about Bitcoin reserves, or even creating a crypto portfolio was what was mentioned once. Not just a Bitcoin reserve, but creating an entire crypto portfolio. So essentially, that's what we're going to be talking about next. But before we talk about that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it outside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news, which is regarding states and policies and regulations inside the United States. Good evening, Miles. How are you doing? Callie, I'm doing great. How you been? Okay, let me see. Let me go a little bit up because I think I missed a few questions. We were here, yes. What amount does XRP right amount for generated wealth? Good amount. Consider variable change is the CMF motto. Yes, it is. Bags are packed. Awesome, brother. Let's go, Golden Dragon. Miles, the markets are down again today. Do you know why? A little bit of down is okay. It's not drastic. $5 by the end of the year is what JP is saying for XRP. You never know, anything's possible. Consider variable change. Don't worry, guys. $3 is going to be coming. Ghost Burner, I'm funky, brother. $5. When do you think the regulations will be coming in? When do I think regulations will be coming in? In the first 100 days. So Trump will take his seat on January 20th. And Trump has pledged that the first 100 days is all going to be about fixing America, fixing the crypto policies, fixing everything within the first 100 days. See that Travala token went up 200%? Yes, I did, Brad. Yesterday, I mentioned on this live regarding a company by the name of Travala, which I said is like booking.com. You can book your vacations and so on. And Travala accepts cryptocurrencies. And Travala made $100 million. And they said, you know, they want to celebrate by entering and creating a crypto portfolio for themselves. Now, the token I talked about yesterday, Travala, which is from a legitimate, essentially, company, the travel.com company, today that token is up 200%. So if anybody listened to me yesterday on this live, they would have known about Travala's token, AVA. And you could have made a quick, essentially, flip for yourself because Travala is up 200% today. Good. Kelly, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? XCN is better than what? I did miss that. Wishing you health and peace, brother. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for the kind words. Brian Live 707. Think of the kind words. Trump is a businessman. Exactly. Hi, Miles and CMF and Shelly. Ripple, good to see you. How you doing? Is it advisable to cash out in stable coins then exchange to fiat? No. Not financial advice in any sort of a way. But if you want, you can essentially, if you want, you can use stable coins. You don't have to cash them onto fiat in any sort of a way. So using a cryptocurrency bank card, the nominal MasterCard or Visa, you can use them. So you don't have to go back to fiat if you want to use them in the real world. You can just use them as stable coins through bank cards like Uphold, for example, or crypto.com bank cards. Miles, is that hot tea you're drinking or a big cup of tequila? Oh. No, it's actually water, not tequila. When RL USD will be released? Well, we're going to talk about that on tonight's live a little bit later on, but no, it's water. Just water. Just water. Now, USG essentially moves to establish Bitcoin reserves. Several United States are actively pursuing essentially legislations to create their own street Bitcoin reserves, SBR. This initiative reflects a growing recognition of Bitcoin potential as a financial asset and a hedge against inflation. The Texas House of Representatives has recently introduced a groundbreaking bill aimed at establishing a state-level Bitcoin reserve, spearheaded by Republican, essentially, State Representative Giovanni. The proposed legislation allows Texas to accumulate Bitcoin through taxes, fees, and donations, with plans to hold these assets for a minimum of 5 years. Giovanni envisions this move essentially as a way to enhance the state's economics and resilience and position Texas as a leader in cryptocurrency innovation. He stated that investing in Bitcoin can serve as a protective measure against inflation, and which he identified as a significant threat to investments. Texas is not alone in this endeavor. Pennsylvania has already been making strides by introducing its own Bitcoin Street Reserve, enacting a loan, essentially the state treasury, to invest up to 10% of its funds in Bitcoin. This legislative push is essentially a part of the broader trend, with reports indicating that approximately 10 states are considering similar measures. The Satoshi Act Fund, which has been instrumental in types of these initiatives, aims to promote Bitcoin's integration into state financial strategies and protect mining rights. The recent essentially surge in Bitcoin's price over 45% since the election of President Donald Trump has fueled optimism surrounding the legislative efforts. Trump's campaign includes promise to establish a national Bitcoin reserve, further essentially initiating interest in both states and federal levels. Analysts are suggesting that while the establishment of such reserves may not lead to immediate price surges, they can contribute to market excitement and investor confidence. As states like Texas and Pennsylvania take bold steps towards integrating Bitcoin into their financial frameworks, the conversation around cryptocurrency's role in government finance is gaining traction. With ongoing discussions of various states and support from influential lawmakers, the US may soon witness a transformative shift in how digital assets are perceived and utilized at both states and national levels. This move signifies just a response to inflation pressures, but also acknowledgement of Bitcoin's growing significance as an economic tool. As more states consider similar legislations, the landscape for cryptocurrencies in America is poised for substantial change. And it definitely is. The landscape is on its way for substantial amounts of change inside the United States, without a doubt. And we're already seeing signs of that happening. Pennsylvania and Texas are not the only ones that are doing this. There's a multitude of states and governors essentially coming forward and going, they're creating some sort of Bitcoin reserve. And we've even heard one congressman talk about the idea from one particular state of not just creating a Bitcoin reserve, but creating an entire crypto portfolio, which I revealed about 2 nights ago on this live. But again, none of this would have been possible without Trump. He hasn't even taken his seat. And we're already seeing more signs of what's to come. And all of this exactly just means more money, and more money. Now, BlackRock. Moving on essentially from Pennsylvania and Texas to BlackRock. BlackRock has released a new report today, suggesting how much allocation could be set aside for any company that wants to get involved in the whole Bitcoin strategy, following MicroStrategy's footsteps, what type of money they could be putting aside. So here it is. BlackRock says 1 to 2% a reasonable Bitcoin portfolio allocation from their recent report that was released today. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, said up to 2% or 1% portfolio allocation is reasonable for investors who wish to hold Bitcoin, according to their report today. The report, which was shared with essentially Cointelegraph, had first reported by Bloomberg, says 1 to 2% is a reasonable range for Bitcoin's exposure, but cautious for larger essential allocations would sharply increase Bitcoin's share for overall portfolio risk. Meanwhile, 1 to 2% Bitcoin allocation poses on average about the same share of overall portfolio risk. As a typical allocation to the Magnificent essentially 7 group of essentially most mega cap tech stocks, in a portfolio comprising of 60% stocks and 40% fixed income assets, BlackRock said. The Magnificent 7 includes companies such as Amazon, that BlackRock is essentially saying you should have in your portfolio. You should have Amazon shares, Microsoft shares, Nevada shares, And BlackRock manages approximately $11.5 trillion in assets, and it also sponsors the largest spot Bitcoin ETF ever to be seen, iShares Bitcoin Trust, which now holds a net asset of nearly $54 billion. According to BlackRock, investors need to think about Bitcoin's expected returns in a different way. It has no underlying cash in essentially flows for estimating future returns. What matters is the extent of the adaptation that's going to be happening. Bitcoin may also provide a more diversified source of return. BlackRock said, at adding, essentially, we see no instructive reasons of why Bitcoin should be correlated with major risk assets over the long term, given its value is driven by such distant drivers. Long-term BTC could potentially also become less risky, but at the point it might no longer have a structural catalyst for further sizable essentially price increases, the report stated, and instead investors may prefer to use it tactically to hedge against specific risk, similar to gold. The report, dubbed Sizing Bitcoin Portfolios, was released by BlackRock's investment institution today. So BlackRock has came up today and said to all institutions pretty much around the world that 1 to 2% allocation in your portfolios as a company should be towards Bitcoin. And they also said that Bitcoin is not a short-term asset, it's a long-term asset, so your profit margin will be much more higher holding it for a longer period, which is typically what institutions do anyways, to be fairly honest. Institutions, as I said previously, hold any sort of asset for 5-year periods minimum, because they're going to have 5-year projections, not a month projection, which most people do inside the retail section. But this is showing more confidence towards the market space when you have somebody like BlackRock coming out with a new report today telling you what to do inside the crypto space, even though it might be Bitcoin related, but it shows confidence to the blockchain space in general. Now, moving on essentially from BlackRock's report today to the world's largest digital asset manager announces a fund launch for 2 surprising altcoins. Now, some of you might be holding these surprising altcoins. Here they are. Grayscale Investments, the world's largest digital asset manager. Grayscale has introduced the Grayscale Lido DAO. So if anybody's holding LDO, there's a trust happening with Grayscale now. And Grayscale's Optimize, OP, trust. 2 new crypto investment vehicles aimed at providing institutional and accredited investors with exposure to key Ethereum ecosystem tokens. So if anybody is essentially holding OP or LDO, it's great news for you. Announced today, these trust targets Lido DAO's governance token, LDO, and Optimize essentially OP token, both of which play a critical role in Ethereum's ongoing developments. Lido DAO essentially focuses on staking accessibility, while Optimize addresses Ethereum scalability through layer 2 solutions. The Grayscale Lido DAO Trust and Grayscale Optimize Trust provides investors with exposure to essentially to protocols that are helping to increase Ethereum's efficiency, security, scalability, and adaptation within essentially the broader DeFi ecosystem, said Sheriff Grayscale's head of products and research. The trusts are now available for daily subscriptions, allowing eligible individuals and investors and institutional accredited investors to gain exposure to LDO and OP tokens without directly owning them. These vehicles joins Grayscale's suite of single asset investment products designed to offer safe and regulated crypto exposure for high net worth and institutional clients. Grayscale explained that these investment vehicles are available to accredited investors, a definition that requires individuals to have a net worth of at least $1 million or a total household income of $300,000 before they can get involved essentially in this trust for OP or LDO. What I'm more interested about is not the idea of LDO or essentially OP, but if you are holding OP or LDO, amazing news for you, without a doubt. What I'm more interested about is we're getting a lot more essentially altcoins happening in this space. We're getting a lot more altcoin ETPs, altcoin ETFs, not just inside the United States, but worldwide type of scenarios. Amazing to hear that. And again, it's because of Trump that companies are feeling a bit more confident, and they're coming forward and going, you know what, we're going to expand beyond just this whole Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF and ETP space. We're going to go and spread our wings inside the altcoin space. And on the topic of spreading your wings inside the altcoin space, Valar, another company that's just decided today to create the world's biggest ETPs. Velar adds 20 crypto ETPs to Sweden's spotlight stock market. Velar Inc. has introduced 20 new digital asset exchange traded products on Sweden's stock market. This represents the largest single-day launch in the company's history, increasing its total ETP offerings to over 60, essentially across European exchanges, according to a company released today. The new ETPs provide regulated access to a variety of blockchains, essentially based assets, offering traditional investors a pathway to digital market space. In September, Velar also introduced a physically backed Ethereum and staking ETP on the London Stock Exchange. This product offers institutional investors passive, non-leveraged exposure to Ethereum while enabling them to earn staking rewards. They also are planning on expanding their crypto exchange-traded products to African investors following an agreement with the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The initiative supported by Solvi includes ETPs for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Hedera, Render, OP, and there's a list of crypto assets that Velar has decided essentially to bring to the stock exchange, to Sweden Stock Exchange. Look, I don't care if it's Sweden Stock Exchange, I don't care if it's going to be Tokyo Stock Exchange or whatever. What I'm interested about is companies feeling more confident, where a company is coming out and essentially creating 20 ETPs in one day for crypto assets, something which is pretty much unheard of. Because you get, a company coming out and creating one ETP on the London Stock Exchange, or two maybe ETPs, but 20 ETPs they're launching in one day for crypto assets that are altcoins. It generally is showing the confidence that was needed inside the crypto space, where companies are coming out and creating 20 ETPs. Now, and again, because of Trump. So thank God Trump won. The next news we're going to be talking about, moving on from the 20 ETPs launched in one day to BlackRock and Fidelity. But before we talk about that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section, and then we go straight into the next news, which is regarding BlackRock and Fidelity. So let's see where we were at. We were at here, I think. Yeah. Hi, Miles and family. Harry, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Can give me your strategy cashing out, Miles, please? If I want to cash out, I'll be using stablecoins rather than fiat. And the best way to not pay taxes in any jurisdiction is to use your crypto assets as collateral and borrow against it. You can do this from Nexo. It is regulated. You can do this from HSBC Bank, depending on your jurisdictions. But as we go more into rules and regulations, the borrowing and lending space inside the crypto space will become a much more bigger market space, which means it's the best method to use to borrow against your crypto assets, use them as collateral, and don't pay tax. And that's my move, to borrow against the majority of my crypto assets and essentially borrow against them, use them as collateral so I don't pay tax. Because if I sell them, depending on jurisdictions, you have to pay quite a lot of tax. Can I ask a question again, Miles? Go for it. Is it advisable to cash out into stablecoins before cashing out? No, you can cash out directly to fiat if you wanted to. You don't have to, put them in stablecoins and then go to essentially fiat. You can just cash it out from whatever crypto project is straight into your account. You can use platforms like Uphold. Uphold will, cash out to your bank account in under 3 minutes. So that's impressive as well. Is RL USD coming on Christmas? Is RL USD going to be launched around Christmas time? Well, we don't know. I'll be honest. Brad has mentioned that he's going to be the only one that mentions when exactly it's going to be launched. And we are going to be talking about RL USD a little bit later on towards the end of the live. But Brad is the one that has mentioned that he's the only one that's going to let everybody know when it's going to be activated. But we do know that it has a green light from the New York, essentially, Financial Service Department, which is incredible. Also, what is the exchange most trusted cashing out to a bank account? Uphold. Uphold is the best if you want to cash out your crypto assets. It takes about 3 minutes and it's in your bank account. Hello, how you doing, Ekram? Hello. Is it better? Okay, is it better than HBAR? Is LDO better than HBAR? No, definitely not. Giga token, what's your take? More money? I don't know. I need to look into Giga token to give you a better perspective on money. I need to see what the licenses they have, what contracts they have in place. Do they have any sort of partnerships? What's their developments? Are they going to be in 5 years' time? There's a few things I need to look into Giga token for you before I can give you a perspective on that matter. Direct message me, I'll get back to you. No problem. I'm free. I don't charge any money. BlackRock is so hush-hush about XRP. It is true. BlackRock is moving very hush-hush regarding XRP. Miles, will you sell any coins in the bull run? Yes, I will sell some, definitely, and I will borrow against the rest to minimize my taxes. So I will be selling, obviously, some coins, and I'm more than happy to pay the taxes off. But some projects I'm not going to be selling. I'm going to be borrowing against them to, not pay too much tax and use them as collateral. And that's how I'm going to balance tax, because your next question was how you balancing tax. That's how. Thanks, Miles. No problem. Report time. Is the slow movement of ACH due to the demographic of where it's going to be used? Mainly. The slow movement in ACH is due to rules and regulations. The slow movement in ACH is genuinely due to rules and regulations. Before we can see any sort of movements on ACH, there needs to be rules and regulations because it's inside the financial sector. But I would say keep your number one. If you want to be inside the financial sector, number one, XRP, number two, XLM, number three, XDC, number four, HBAR. You can put that order in any category, but XRP is always going to be number one inside that category. And then ACH next. So preferably have not financial advice in any sort of a way. Preferably, I would have more of XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBAR, and then some of ACH. So preferably those ones should be more of than the other one. Is slow movement and how I know when a good time to sell. I've released a document. I released a PDF document on the Telegram group of this live, which by the way is free if anybody wants to join the Telegram group. Amazing place to be in. You can join it, and I've released a PDF document on 8 ways to cashing out your crypto projects, and essentially when to sell them. Giga token is a meme coin. Okay, never mind. Giga token is, don't waste your time. Giga token, more money. Is stablecoins taxable? Yes, depending on jurisdictions. ACH walking like a wobbly. Can you give an example of borrowing against your assets? I still don't have a clear idea about it. No problem at all. An example of borrowing against your assets. So, for example, if I walk into a bank, let's just say, HSBC Bank. If I walk into HSBC Bank and I have, for example, $1 million, for example, if I walk into HSBC Bank under rules and regulations, and I have $1 million worth of XRP, I go to the bank and I put down $1 million worth of XRP as collateral. Now, there are 2 ways of doing it. You can put down stable coins instead, or you can put the asset itself. So I put down $1 million worth of XRP with HSBC Bank. HSBC Bank will then borrow me half of that. Now, the reason why HSBC will borrow me half of $1 million, which is 500,000, is because the asset is, going to be going up and down. It's volatile. It's 24/7 market space. So when they borrow me half and they're using my $1 million as collateral, is in case my asset goes down or higher or whatever. And then I would have to use that money to create the best ROI I can for myself. Any project that brings the best ROI, return on my investment. So I could do real estate, I could do Airbnb. If I have a business idea, very risky, but you could do that. You can use that money for anything you want. And then you have to pay it back to the bank. And when you pay that money back to the bank will then release your crypto assets back to you. So if I give the bank 1 million, essentially $1 million, if I give the bank 1 million XRP, and the bank gives me essentially $500,000 to spend, I would use that money, do whatever I can with it, flip it, bring more money in, and then give that money back to the bank. And then the bank would release my XRP back to me. And during this process, I pay 0 tax because I'm putting my assets down as collateral in the bank, and the bank will borrow against, and the bank essentially will, I will be borrowing against, and the bank will be lending me essentially $500,000, which is tax-free because you don't pay tax on debt. On the other hand, if I sell my XRP, I'm paying taxes. So if I have $1 million worth of XRP and I sell it, I'm paying taxes. But if I take that $1 million worth of XRP to the bank and use it as collateral and borrow against it, I pay zero tax. And then I pay back that money, the bank will release my XRP back to me. And then if you build that relationship with the bank, they'll borrow you more and more and more because you're building that trust with the bank. Now, typically, they'll give you one, essentially, banking advisor, depending on how much money you're trying to borrow. And you can build that relationship with that one particular banking advisor. And you can even call him sometimes, even after hours, and say, you know, I want to borrow against this amount and so on. And you get essentially your own personal advisors. And you can also do this through private banks. For example, Solo Bank, I've talked about before, is a private bank. There are private banks that will offer these services as well. They're all regulated banks, establishments, and so on. Now, there are also crypto platforms that do this as well. Nexo being one of them, they're regulated in some jurisdictions, but that's how you skip on tax. Now, you could do this anywhere. You can be essentially in the UK, you could be in Canada, you could be in the US, you could be in any country, and you can borrow against your crypto assets tax-free because you don't pay tax on collateral. The money that the bank gives you is the collateral, so they can't tax that. It's debt. So the collateral is what you're putting down. The debt is what you gave the bank. They can't tax debt. But if I sell my XRP, I'm getting taxed. But if I borrow against my XRP, I'm getting the bank's money, and you can't tax the bank's money. So that's how. Now, also, for example, if I borrow against the bank and my XRP goes higher, let's say if I borrow against the bank and XRP sitting at this price, for example, I can again, if XRP goes higher from the time period I borrowed from the bank, I can borrow again from the bank and pay back my original loan. So there are ways around it to not pay tax in any jurisdiction. You could be in the UK, Canada, US, anywhere in the world and do this and pay zero tax. Not financial advice in a certain way, but when the time comes around, if you are a CMF member, I'm more than happy to help you out. So if you haven't joined the CMF, join the CMF. And how you join the CMF is by just following me on social media. That's how you join the CMF. There's no pay me monthly or buy my subscription, all that crap. Just follow me on social media is how you join the CMF. It's free. All you have to do is subscribe or follow me on social media and join the Telegram group, which is free. And that's how you join the CMF. ACH, what about, okay, thank you very much. No problem. What about XDC? Great project, honestly, amazing project. What about Zeta Chain as a part of the ICO? Zeta Chain, I'll take a look into it after the live. Chosen, I'll get back to you on that one. Can you go through your list and mark it up which ones you'll sell and which ones you'll hold and pin it? Yes, I can, Harry. So I can make it even more simpler for you. The crypto assets, I'm never going to sell, never. And I've said this since the 2 years I've been, 2+ years I've been doing this live. The crypto projects, I'm never selling, and it hasn't changed. XRP, I'm never selling XRP. I'm always going to be, when the time comes, borrowing against my XRP and using it as collateral. I'm never selling my XRP. I'm never selling my XLM. I'm never selling my XDC. In most cases, I'm never going to be selling my HBAR either. The rest of the crypto assets, I'm selling. So never selling XRP, never selling XLM, never selling XDC, never selling HBAR. Everything else is up for sale. Those assets I'm borrowing against, everything else up for sale. Because the more we go into rules and regulations, the more institutional money starts pouring inside the market space, those assets will go much more higher in scale, XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBAR, compared to the rest. ACH I'm selling as well when the time comes around. Not now, when the time comes around. That's why I say focus more on XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, and then at the end throw some in ACH if you want as well. But mostly your focus should be XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on, HBAR, due to the rules and regulations coming in. So yeah, Harry, I just made it simple for you. Those are the assets I'm keeping forever. Miles, I've always said that as well. Miles, will be possible to let bank rent your coin and they pay you monthly like a house rental. Maybe if the bank doesn't offer that service. Miles, but I've only got 10 XRP. How does that work? Same method. You put 10 XRP down, they'll borrow you guys 5 of them. Okay, thanks you so much. No problem to any time. I like the idea of banks lending me money on my XRP to purchase properties and etc. Let's go, Shelly. That's how billionaires avoid paying tax. Exactly, Brad. You're right on the money, Brad. And Shelly is what? Facts. It's the best way. Best way. Really good information. Thank you, Miles. No problem. Ripple anytime. It's literally like borrowing money from the bank to buy a house. It's pretty much the same deal. You don't pay taxes on it, or to open up a business, you pay back. Basically, same method. Hey, Miles, if my brother gives me crypto, wallet to wallet, is there a tax involved? Good question. Yes, depending on the jurisdiction. So some jurisdictions don't care if your family members are gifting you crypto. They'll still tax you on it. Not now, in about 3 years' time. But some jurisdictions see that as a gift, which means they can maybe not tax you. Depends on each jurisdiction, on the whole gifting idea. Has the bank, so Lina says, has the Bank of International Settlements done enough in supporting African countries getting into crypto arena? Majority are into trading apart. So good question as well from Lina. Has the Bank of International Settlements done enough supporting African countries? The Bank of International Settlements has done quite a bit in supporting African countries, but not on the basis you're thinking of. The Bank of International Settlements has helped African countries sway into CBDCs, is what they've done. So the Bank of International Settlements is helping Nigeria go more towards CBDCs, and a lot of other essentially countries within the continent of Africa go towards CBDCs rather than the whole crypto policies and regulations. But even though African nations are doing a lot of crypto regulations and policies, and Africa is going to become massive in the blockchain space, believe it or not. There's a lot of investments happening in Africa for the blockchain space and the AI space. Data centers are going to be set up in Africa, and they're using essentially solar panels and essentially wind tunnels, some in water energy and so on. For example, Russia, the government of Russia is building a massive Bitcoin mining infrastructure in Africa. Mara, which is one of the biggest Bitcoin mining companies in America, is also building a massive Bitcoin, essentially mining infrastructure. There are AI companies that are building massive data centers in Africa. Africa is going to become massive inside the AI and essentially blockchain space. It's going to be an incredible market space as the years progress. And these are like $100 million contracts, or in some cases, billion-dollar contracts. So companies are actually shifting over to the African market space. They're building massive AI centers, massive essentially data centers, massive Bitcoin mining infrastructure centers. Incredible. Miles is free. He has always been free. Let's go, Scott. I'm the OG. I'm a witness, and he has conversed me with often and never charged me. Conversated with me often and never charged. That's true. I've never charged anyone. Completely free. Implementations of an X merger. Do you think it will happen? Susie, elaborate on the X merger. Merging with who? Which company? Ripple, thanks, Miles, for your valuable information. No problem, Ripple, anytime. Zchain is a payment method listed on Coinbase and every other exchange, and only $400 million market cap. Helpful. Thank you for letting me know about that. But I still need to know. Okay, I remember Zchain now. But I still don't know what their recent developments are, recent contracts are. I remember it's a payment system now. Thank you for letting me know about that. Yeah, a while ago I looked at this actually. Miles is free, has always been free, and the OG I've witnessed conversation with him often never charged. Let's go. Let's go score. Thanks, Miles. But what about AVAX and Link? Won't they go higher too? Yes, they will. AVAX will go higher. AVAX is an incredible chain. Honestly, incredible. Very underrated. AVAX is. It will do incredibly well for itself. AVAX is being used on a subnet green by quite a lot of institutions and banks. This whole, green zone, carbon emission, zero-free world we're heading towards, AVAX is going to play a role in that. They have this incredible chain for subnet greens that companies are going towards and banks are going towards. Citibank, for example, JP Morgan, they're on a subnet green over there. So AVAX is going to be an incredible chain as well. Incredible project, and it is going to do incredibly well for itself under rules and regulations moving forward. And Chainlink is also going to do incredibly well for itself within the rules and regulation space and within the years come and go. But I'm guessing you're asking me on the basis of why am I not holding onto my AVAX or Link, and why am I going to sell them? When I get to a certain stage, I'm going to sell them and pull that money back into the financial category, because the financial category is number one. Nothing beats the financial category inside the crypto space. So whereas projects are focusing on, essentially, there are projects inside the crypto space that are focused on gaming or data or AI or Web3 or D-Pain or D-Science or whatever they're coming out with. They're like rappers now, Lil Wayne, little this, little this, all these D-Pains and D-Sins and D-Sons and so on. But the financial category is number one. Money going digital is the number one category. It will always remain the number one category. Everything else will just follow through. So data will be number two in most cases, alongside Web3 and so on. And tokenization is just a subcategory in the financial category. The gaming category will become massive without a doubt, but it's a niche category. Because you got to understand that, inside the gaming category, for example, people will be losing interest in one particular game until the next game comes out and so on. That's just how it will work. AI category, there will always be a better AI project, and people will shift over from AI project to another AI project. The data category, people will probably move over from one data project to another due to security reason purposes. Every category you look into, it's just, there's this chance of people shifting over from one project to another for security purposes, for a better gaming experience, for a better AI experience, or for whatever reasonings. But money is money. Nobody's going to be shifting over from one prospect to another one, because once one is leading the way and the rest are connected to it, it's just full stop. It's done deal. Money's money. No one's ever going to lose interest in money the way they will be losing interest in a game inside the gaming category, or essentially inside the AI category. There'll always be a better AI project out there that could do better videos, it could do better pictures in AI, whatever. But money's money. So XRP leading the way is never going to change. XLM leading alongside it, XDC leading alongside it, HBAR leading, that's never going to change. Money's money. But the other categories, people can shift over their investments for a better gaming experience, for a better AI experience, for better whatever experience there is, a better smart contract experience, or so on. But money's money. So that's why I've always just, financial category, number one, everything else will follow. But AVAX and Link, incredible projects. AVAX, incredible. Link, also good as well. If you borrow, okay. Thanks, Miles. I also brought more XDC and XLM during the dip. Let's go, Stormy. XDC, incredible. XLM, incredible. If you borrow against your assets, so you become in debt, do you still pay tax on your earnings that you're going to pay back your debt with? So realistically, you're still paying tax on debt. Technically, no, but I understand where you're coming from. So the money that you borrow from the bank, you're not paying tax on it. But if you use that money to buy a property, for example, then that property could be taxable. But you can also deduct that tax as well by setting up a company, that company that essentially the property goes through. There are so many loopholes within the law to avoid paying taxes. And those loopholes exist for you to avoid taxes. So, for example, if I borrow money from the bank, that money cannot be taxed because it's debt, because I'm using my crypto assets as collateral. I use that money to buy a house. If I directly buy a house, then that house will, have some sort of tax payments that I need to do. However, if I set up a company and then buy a house through that company with the essentially debt that I got from the money that I borrowed from the bank, because I'm using my assets as collateral, I can skip on taxes. There are so many ways you can write off tax. There are so many ways, there are loopholes within the laws. Lots of ways. Too many ways. Miles is free and has always been free. Let's go, Scott. Thanks so much for the kind words, Scott, honestly. When would you sell ETH? You don't have to regarding ETH if you don't want to as well. It's going to get bigger and bigger inside the ETF space for Ethereum, but that's only when the refilings happen. So currently, Ethereum ETFs are terrible. Ethereum brings nothing to the table. Bitcoin brings something. The only reason why you never saw Ethereum go, $10,000 in the ETF space pushing it up, the same way the Bitcoin space where ETFs did, is because Ethereum brought nothing to the table. Bitcoin brings a limited supply, which is why the ETF worked quite well, why BlackRock has a $54 billion ETF market space. It's because it brings a limited supply to the table, is what Bitcoin does. Ethereum could have brought staking capabilities to the table, but the SEC said no staking, only Ethereum ETF, which made pretty much no inflows coming in towards Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually going to do well when Gary Gensler is goodbye, new SEC chairman, refiling happens for all the Ethereum ETFs to add staking capabilities. And then Wall Street will be all over Ethereum ETFs because now they can earn on their Ethereum through staking Ethereum ETFs. Then you'll be seeing Ethereum going higher in price. So the moment Gary Gensler leaves his position, new SEC chairman comes in his position, trust me, there's going to be a multitude of refiling ETFs for Ethereum to add staking capabilities. And that's what Ethereum will bring to the table. That's what's going to help Ethereum to go higher. So you don't really have to if you don't want to regard Ethereum, because it's, money is going to be pouring into Ethereum as well due to the staking capabilities that's going to come from the Ethereum ETFs with the refilings from Wall Street or from any other institution, to be fairly honest. If you're smart, you turn 500,000 you borrowed into 1 million, pay back and keep 500,000, and you still got your XRP. Exactly, Joseph. Miles, all these ETPs and ETFs being created, will they touch the XRP ledger? Yes. Well, XRP has its own essentially ETF filings as well. There are 4 ETF filings for the XRP as well, but the SEC hasn't bothered looking into them. All the X's merging. Okay, Susie, now I know what you're saying. All the X's merging together, yes. As David Schwartz put it, the XRP ledger should be representing like Google. Google, everything is connected to Google. David Schwartz once made a comment that the XRP ledger is going to become like Google of the blockchain space where everything will connect to it. So is it going to be connected to it? In most cases, yes. We've seen signs of that as well regarding essentially Cardano and talking about the founder of Cardano, talking about how XRP is going to play a vital role in Cardano's project. Imagine that one. The founder of Cardano was talking about how XRP, the token, is going to play a vital role in Cardano. And he even said that XRP will be a much more valuable token than essentially ADA in one particular project in Cardano's platform, the 19-day project they've created. So, yeah, there's going to be a merger happening. Why is ACH not best product? ACH is a good product. It's not the best. XRP is the best in the financial category. Will you be taxed on assets you're mining like XLA? Good question. No. For the time being, no. It could probably fall under the same category as Bitcoin, but it does, at the end of the day, go back to which jurisdiction you're from. How will you gain from XLA? Now, if no one knows, if someone's watching this and they don't know what XLA is an equivalent to Monero. So, you know how these platforms where you can mine essentially crypto assets, and you press a button and you exit the app and it's mining, for example, Pi token or whatever other token there is out there. XLA, you actually mine it. It's a privacy token, incredible project, by the way. Privacy token has its own wallet. It's actually listed on an exchange that you can sell your mine tokens for XLA. So it's a privacy token. They have their own wallet. They have their own vault. It's listed on exchanges. If anybody wants to go and take a look at it, XLA, incredible for privacy projects. And will it be taxed? I think it's going to fall in the same category as Bitcoin mining. So it does depend on different jurisdictions. Do you still like MDT best for data? I wouldn't say it's the best for data, but I still like MDT, yes. Measurable data token. Listed on all exchanges. Can I use Uphold to borrow against my XRP if I live in the UK? If Uphold eventually offers a feature like that, then yes, you can. Hi, Miles. Millie, how you doing? Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? By the way, Millie is Shelley's daughter, the CMF members. I think I introduced her once a while ago. Good to see you, Millie. How you doing? Hi, Caroline. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Can I ask a question, Caroline? Go for it. That's amazing, Miles. Thank you. Joe, good to see you as well. How you doing? I am creating a trust that owns a company in Dubai that have investments in Kenya. Yes, that's true. Camel is doing that. Joe, no problem as well. Will RL USD push Ethereum up as RL USD is running on Ethereum too? Will RL USD push Ethereum up as RL USD is running on Ethereum too? Yes, it should do, but the EVM that's set up for essentially Ethereum, for the XRP ledger for RL USD and so on, is more in the case of the liquidity from Ethereum flowing into the XRP ledger. That's more why it's set up, not to push up that Ethereum token as well, but it can do. But it's mostly essentially set up to empty the liquidity from Ethereum into the XRP ledger. That's why the EVM is set up in most cases for RL USD token. Miles, when you sell a coin, will you be putting in stables, then put for XRP later, or straight away for XRP after sales? Straight away to XRP. Some stable coin, but most cases straight to XRP. Now, BlackRock and Fidelity. BlackRock and Fidelity invest $500 million in Ethereum via Coinbase. So keeping on topic of Ethereum we're talking about, BlackRock and Fidelity have collectively invested over $500 million into Ethereum through transactions listed by Coinbase Prime. This development underscores the growing institutional confidence in digital assets, particularly Ethereum. As networks activity continues to rise due to decentralized finance and non-essentially NFTs options, according to data from Arkham Intelligence, BlackRock has acquired 131 Ethereum in a series of transactions, including a single transfer of 10,000 Ethereum. These transactions were valued at millions, with notable examples including 1.4 essentially Ethereum transfers worth up to $4.28 million and 8.1 essentially transactions amounting to $31 million from Fidelity. On the other side, increased to its Ethereum holdings by 108 Ethereum, with individual transactions ranging from 1.5 and 24 Ethereum, and prominent inflows of Fidelity included 15 essentially Ethereum, $55 million, and so on. BlackRock's Ethereum ETF has shown substantial growth, recording a massive one-day inflow of $74.16 million, and this brings the essentially cumulative inflows to around 2.99, pushing the total assets to around 3.55, and the ETF also experienced a daily price increase of 5.28%, reflecting the strong demand for Ethereum-focused investment products. As we're getting close to rules and regulations, the money's flowing into Ethereum a little bit. Similarly, Fidelity's Ethereum ETF recorded a one-day net inflow of $13.8 million, evaluating essentially inflows to $530.58 million, and the ETF's total essentially net assets now stands at $1.56 billion, with a daily price gain of 5.06%, and these figures illustrate essentially the accelerating adoption for Ethereum in institutional portfolios. These strategic investments by BlackRock and Fidelity coincide with Ethereum's increasing essential activities and continues to grow, driven by the expanding DeFi ecosystems and NFT market space. And these sectors have positioned Ethereum as a leading platform for innovations, attracting both institutional and retail investors. The combined investment of $500 million into Ethereum reflects a robust institutional interest that could further stabilize and enhance the credibility of digital assets. As Ethereum continues to evolve, its role in the broader financial landscape becomes increasingly pivotal, especially with backing from major financial institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity. BlackRock and Fidelity have put around roughly $500 million into Ethereum, which is great, and did it through Coinbase. Now, on the topic of Coinbase, this is what's happening. Coinbase is going to be delisting USDT for Europe. It's starting. Now, we've heard the other smaller exchanges delist USDT because of the MiC regulations. And Tether is losing one of the biggest market spaces, the European market space, Tether is completely going to lose that now because they don't want to show transparency to the EU market space, which is one of the things they have to do to be inside that market space. Hold 60% of their assets in EU banks to show, they can back their asset if anything goes south or a depegging situation happens. And Tether said no. But anyways, putting that to one side, a lot of people are still asking me, USDT, when is it going to come to an end in the EU due to MiCA regulations? Well, it's happening already. Tether's USDT, along with 5 other essentially stable coins, will be delisted from Coinbase's European platforms starting tomorrow. So if you are somebody that's holding USDT on Coinbase in the European market space, Coinbase tomorrow is going to be delisted. Well, today basically is 1 a.m. Coinbase is going to be delisting USDT in the EU market space today, basically, or tomorrow in a sense, in reaction to the European Union's crypto asset regulations under MiCA, essentially soon to come into effect on December 30th. Because by the end of this month, USDT should be delisted from every platform in the EU market space. And the only stablecoin that's going to be available so far to the EU market space is going to be USDC and RL USD when it's launched. But perfect timing, to be fairly honest. USDT losing position and RL USD getting launched. So, according to Coinbase's spokesperson, based on the most recent information, we currently anticipate we'll be obligated to restrict services for the following assets. USDT as a stablecoin will be delisted. PAX will be delisted. PYUSD delisted. GUSD delisted. GYEN delisted. DAI delisted. None of which is on compliance with the MiCA requirements. But Coinbase will still back essentially USDC and EuroC, the euro-backed stablecoin, as they meet the criteria. So USDC is the only stablecoin going to be available starting tomorrow from Coinbase in the EU market space. Under the MiCA rules on June 30th, 2024, stablecoin issuers must obtain an e-money license in order to operate within the European Economic Area. Tether does not currently pose essentially this type of requirement, but discussions are a matter of ongoing. Tether doesn't want to abide by the EU rules in any sort of a way. They have to show transparency. Can they back Tether? Can they back USDT? Is all the EU wants to know. And then hold some of those assets in EU banks, just in case Tether decides to depeg one day. The EU banks holding Tether's assets can back the depegging situation. But Tether says no. USDC said, sure, no problem, we'll show transparency, and that's why USDC is going to be available in the EU market space. And Tether said, no, transparency, that's something we can't do. Moreover, Coinbase has warned users about the possible delistings of non-compliant assets. Users holding the affected stablecoins will have the option to convert their holdings to USDC to ensure continuing of services. The firm further noted that it would reconsider the possibility of re-enabling services for stablecoins that achieve MiCA compliance at some point in the future. This move is likely to impact the liquidity of the European crypto market space, as USDT is among the most used stablecoins in the world. However, such a decision could also be the opening for USDC and other compliant stablecoins to take its market share. RL USD is coming for essentially USDT right now. RL USD is coming for USDT right now. Tether's CEO said, and also just to point it out, meanwhile, Tether has said it is confident and operating with changing regulations through, if it does not get licensed to comply with MiCA, more delistings from EU exchanges will likely follow. Binance is the only one still keeping USDT for the time being, but they also have to delist it because they have no choice. And that is why Binance also announced a few days ago when I made the announcement that Binance said they've made a partnership with Circle. USDC is coming to Binance because USDC is going to replace USDT in Binance for the EU market space. Canada has also essentially said they're going to be banning USDT completely because USDT does not want to show transparency. Imagine a stable coin. So essentially a stable coin saying no to transparency. Tether's CEO harshly criticized some exchanges for their rushed actions. So Tether's CEO, instead of coming out and saying, okay, we'll show transparency, no problem, they're getting angry. Tether's CEO, USDT CEO, is getting angry at exchanges for rushing their actions, for delisting USDT. Tether is angry that exchanges are delisting USDT. I'm sorry, what were they supposed to do? Get fined? Because if these exchanges didn't delist USDT, the EU will sue them. So what was Tether's CEO expecting? For Coinbase to get sued because USDT doesn't want to show transparency? This is why I say Tether's CEO really does live in his own little bubble. I think the world is just going to back him and following, essentially off a bridge or essentially off a hill. Because it's a stupid reaction to have. The EU is asking you, show transparency, Tether, and you're saying no. So for you saying no, the exchanges go, okay, well, we're going to delist USDT because we don't want to get sued. Tether's CEO goes, hold on a minute, don't rush. Why are you delisting us so straight away? What reaction were you expecting? The exchanges to go, no, we're going to stand behind USDT. We're going to leave the EU market space and we're going to follow USDT. No, hell no. Of course, they're going to toss you out the moment you said no. In a statement, Tether said it was confident it will successfully navigate these changes. How? Ensuring that its efforts to drive financial and innovation continue to thrive, particularly in regions with limited or inefficient access to traditional financial systems. So, Tether, for getting kicked out of the EU market space, USDT getting kicked out of the EU market space, Tether's response wasn't, we're going to find a way to get back inside the EU market space. No. Their response was, we're going to go towards countries that have no rules and regulations and use Tether over there. So, honestly, Tether is going to go from here to here by the looks of it. There's just no way to put it, but USDT is just digging their own grave right now. Honestly, USDT is just digging their own grave. This is the ending of USDT. 2025 is going to be dreadful for USDT by the looks of it. But in good news, it's going to be excellent for RL USD because RL USD is coming for that Tether position and there's nobody that can stop it now. Honestly. Nobody's stopping RL USD now. So goodbye USDT, hello RL USD. Now, I can't believe Tether actually said, no problem, we'll leave the EU and go to smaller countries. The only reason Tether will even go to smaller countries is because they can take advantage of their rules and regulations. But that's still not going to bring money, unless Tether's planning on laundering money. So honestly, goodbye USDT. Because the end of this month is pretty much bye-bye. As Brad put it, bye-bye Tether. Now, what we're going to be talking about, so if you are holding USDT in the EU right now, don't be holding USDT, transfer it over to USDC. And if you're watching this for the first time ever and you're wondering to yourself, what is USDT? USDT is a stable coin. It's basically a digital dollars. And RL USD is a stable coin, digital dollars, that's replacing essentially Ripple. It's replacing USDT. They're both digital dollars, in other words. Now, what we're going to be talking about next is the CFTC, the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission. But before we talk about that, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's go inside the comment section first and let's see what's going on in there. Let's see. We were at... Can you tell me when you are doing so? I copy, no problem. Makes sense, Miles. Thanks. No problem, Harry. Anytime. So I'm just fixing the wires. Okay. Miles, do you think few months after Trump takes the seat, we'll see a final pump of all-time highs? Then around May, we'll start the bear market as the crypto cycle has had been 4 years? No. we're not in the same market cycle whatsoever. So anybody assuming we're going to be repeating market cycles, you're wrong. What we're about to experience for the first time ever is inside the crypto space is rules and regulations. We're about to get institutional money up to a whole nother level. We're about to get altcoin ETFs happening. We're about to get a new SEC chairman happening. America, the biggest market space in the world, is about to go full crypto and create a crypto capital hub, which means more institutions, more bank money, more institutional money, more rules and regulations, more ETFs, which means the world is going to follow their footsteps, which means every jurisdiction around the world is also going to be creating rules and regulations, altcoin ETFs, institutional money coming in. The world is shifting into a digital space. To assume that we're going to be going through the same cycles is absurd. Because what we're experiencing now has never, ever essentially happened in the past. We are in a completely different ballgame, is what I've been saying for the longest time. And I'm not the only one, but I was the first one to say it. And then Grayscale said the exact same thing. Grayscale said essentially that the world is shifting into a digital space and in 2024 and 2025, and we're going towards a different ball game inside the crypto space. Franklin Templeton said the same thing. Standard Chartered Bank said the same thing as well. I'm not saying Grayscale or Standard Chartered Bank analyst or Franklin Templeton's analyst or watching my live and then they're repeating my words on the news. But what I am saying is that I'm guessing their movements before it even happens. Look, we can't compare what's happening now to what's happened before, because in the past, during previous bull runs and bear markets inside the crypto space, we've never had ETFs. We've never had rules and regulations. We've never had institutional money. We've never had America going pro-crypto and creating a capital hub. We've never had 25 countries coming together, creating crypto policies and regulations to not get left behind. We've never had essentially China essentially turning their back on crypto, now going towards crypto and creating Bitcoin reserves. We've never had jurisdictions creating Bitcoin reserves. We've never had American states creating Bitcoin reserves. There's so much of we've never had before inside the crypto space that's about to happen now. So we can't compare what the market space, what was happening in the past is what's going to happen again, because we've never had all these things before. With rules and regulations, banks, institutions, more altcoin ETFs, and the world following America's footsteps, the biggest market space in the world going pro-crypto. We've never had the MiCA regulations in the past previous bull runs and bear markets. The market space we're entering into now, we've never been in before. So we can't compare it to historical patterns. You can compare some, but you can't compare the entire market space. Because there's too much of we've never had before. Different ballgame. USDT is gone on Coinbase now. When you say USDT getting delisted in Europe, does that include the UK? No. I know what you mean as well, because the UK is inside the Europe continent, but the UK is not inside the EU on the MiCA regulations. So no, USDT is not getting delisted for the UK, but it is getting delisted for the EU. EU, not Europe. EU. Miles, so if I give someone, I don't pay tax, depends on jurisdiction. I have some USDT in my cold wallet. If USDT is delisted, am I losing my USDT? Okay, if you're holding USDT in your cold wallets, then it's okay, you could say, even if you're in the EU. But preferably you want to transfer it over to USDC now. Preferably you want to transfer it to USDC. Because it's a cold wallet, it's not an exchange, and a cold wallet's not delisting USDT for the time being. But preferably you want to make it into USDC now. More businesses for RL USD than Tether gets delisted. Exactly. Tether's CEO seems like a child. I agree. Circle is a partnership with Ripple. Question mark. No. They had talks before in the past, but no. RL USD is coming for USDC's position as well, to be fairly honest. Some people would rather live in their own reality, though. Best crypto show ever. All facts. Let's go, Ray. USDT is another Iran, pretty much. Miles, I'm not the smartest guy out there. I will look like a genius in the next 5 years as XRP and XTC does its thing in the financial sector. Let's go, Scott. Bye-bye, Tether. Let's go. Let's go, Brad, regarding bye-bye Tether. Okay, what is happening? Why is it skipping? There you go. I agree. Let's go, Scott. What was the reasonings Binance was made unavailable in the UK? Will the UK lift the ban on Binance anytime soon due to all the changes currently happening? Yes. The moment the UK establishes some sort of rules and regulations, then Binance will be able to work inside the UK. It still is able to if you have an account with them. How's it going, Miles? It's going great, Zach. Good to see you, brother. How you doing? I saw a guy on X say he was going to sell his XRP and buy it again when it crashes back down to 90. Well, good luck to him. The USDT from RL USD, watch, I'm coming for you. Let's go, Joe. It's gone on my Coinbase, Miles. I'm in the UK. Okay, sorry, it's gone from the UK also. It's the Euro continent, they're saying now. Okay, I thought it was just EU on the MiCA regulations. Strange that the UK is following the MiCA regulations. Very strange. There is no one like Miles on social media. Facts. Let's go, Zach. Let's go, Zach. Zach, thanks for those kind of words, brother. Miles, ACH first was top coin. Why now less and for sale? That's just how the market works. It's 24 hours. Now, I sound so educated on crypto. Also, right now with my family, I still don't know how much, but what I do know is thanks to Miles. Thank you so much, Ghost Boner, for the kind words as well. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. So, CFTC chairman. It's not just the SEC chairman that's getting replaced. The CFTC chairman is also getting replaced by someone who is pro-crypto and chosen by the Trump administration. The Trump administration has put forth Brian as its primary candidate for the chairmanship of the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. Brian currently essentially heads crypto policies at the 16Z Crypto and has begun discussions with the Trump team regarding the high-profile position. According to Bloomberg's report, Brian, a former CFTC commissioner, recently participated in interviews for the regulatory agency's Roman. He's known for his leadership in the digital asset sector as the prominent venture capital firm Anderson Howards. If appointed, Brian could essentially forge a vital link between conventional finance and the realm of digital assets. During his earlier tenures at the CFTC, he promoted the adoption of essentially innovation financial instruments, including crypto derivatives. Current discussions suggest that Trump administration is considering assessing the CFTC regulatory authority over the $3 trillion US crypto market space, particularly focusing on digital assets viewed as commodities like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This move could enable the CFTC to oversee the spot markets and exchange directly. Brian's leadership could bring in clarity to crypto regulations. The appointment may foster innovation in digital asset space. Strong regulatory frameworks could also emerge, aligning with Trump's vision of market essentially making America a hub for cryptocurrencies. The potential appointment of Brian as CFTC chairman is a significant step towards reshaping the regulatory landscape for crypto assets, hinting at a more favorable environment for innovations and the growth in the sector. Amazing. CFTC chairman is also getting replaced by someone by the name of Brian. Now, Brian is also a member of a crypto company, and he's going to next become the CFTC chairman. CFTC is going to have as much of a loud voice as the SEC under Trump's administration when it comes to crypto assets. So we're going to have Paul Atkins, pro-crypto, as the SEC chairman, alongside Hester Pierce and Mark, who are SEC commissioners, who are also pro-crypto. And then if we get this man, Brian, who's also a former CFTC commissioner and a part of a crypto company, being in charge of the CFTC, well, then we have a pro-CFTC crypto and a pro-SEC crypto. Incredible. We're just going to smash it out of the park, to be fairly honest. Absolutely incredible. We're going to smash it out of the park with that one. Nothing's going to stop America whatsoever when it comes to crypto assets, which just means money, money, money. For everyone positioned perfectly, in other words. Thank God Trump won. Honestly, thank God Trump won. Now, Australia. Australia is making some movements inside the blockchain space as well. Australia AMP Fund has invested $27 million into Bitcoin. And again, We're seeing signs of companies taking footsteps inside the crypto space because they know America is about to become the crypto hub of the world. So we're seeing more signs of companies doing this. AMP, an Australian essentially fund, revealed that it has invested approximately $27 million into Bitcoin, making it the first large Australian essentially fund to embrace digital assets. According to a report from the Financial Review, the fund has roughly $57 billion in assets under management. This Australian company has $57 billion inside of essentially assets under management. They've invested so far around $27 million into Bitcoin. The Bitcoin allocation is fairly conservative at 0.05% of the fund's total assets under management. The fund reportedly acquired Bitcoin around $60,000 to $70,000 range as a diversifier and to capitalize on the upward trajectory of Bitcoin, which has experienced historical price rallying from Donald Trump. Despite Bitcoin's upward price actions and hitting $100,000 milestone, other Australian funds show no signs of following AMP so far. Their lead still view essentially the assets too risky to adapt. Bitcoin's continued price appreciation and hedging properties have attracted the attention of pension funds worldwide, which seek to maximize gains and preserve purchasing power. In July 2024, the State of Michigan Pension Fund revealed it had $6.6 million exposure to Bitcoin through ARC21 shares Bitcoin ETF. South Korea's National Pension Service (NPS), which is the world's third largest public pension fund, followed suit in August with the purchase of 24,500 MicroStrategy shares. Investing in MicroStrategy is viewed as a leveraged Bitcoin bet by market participants. MicroStrategy issues corporate debt in the form of convertible notes, offerings and equities to finance and continuous acquisitions of Bitcoin. In October, Jimmy, the official responsible for overseeing the state of Florida's public pension funds, began advocating for state pension funds to invest in Bitcoin. More recently, essentially, in November, United Kingdom's based pension manager Cartwright also announced a 3% allocation to Bitcoin. At the time, Cartwright's director of investment consultants, Sam Reports, cited Bitcoin's unique systematic risk returns and profiles as one of the main drivers behind the fund's allocations. We are proud to have a lead in this ground and breaking moves, which are hoped that to be a start of a trend of an institutional investments in the UK going towards cryptocurrency allocations and diversifying their portfolios. Trump. I mean, what more could I say? All because of Trump. On the topic of Trump, Trump doubles down on crypto and Wall Street ambitions for more promises. Thank God Trump won, honestly. Thank God Trump won. Donald Trump walked into the New York Stock Exchange today with the swagger of a man who just won it all again. Fresh off a historical comeback and solid Republican control of Congress, the president wasted no time pushing his economic agendas. He even rang the opening bell himself. The first public act was no coincidence. The New York Stock Exchange, the heart of American capitalism, became the stage for him to retreat all his bold promises, slashing corporate taxes, ramping up crypto innovation, and making America the global leader in artificial intelligence. We are going to do something great with crypto, the crypto president declared. He then casually took a jab at China while also shouting out its president, Mr. Xi Jinping, whom he likes very much now apparently. Flocked by heavyweights like International Exchange CEO Jeffrey, Trump pledged to bring the corporate tax rate down to 15% for businesses that produce on US soil. You pay 21% if you don't build here. If you do, we're going to try and get it to 15%, Trump announced. His economic team is also, which includes Scott Benson, Howard Lipton, and Kelly, stood alongside him as he outlined his vision to energize domestic manufacturing inside the United States. Wall Street cheered his return with applause erupting from the trading floor as Trump rang the bell. Traders chanted USA while the president-elect basked in the symbolism of his moment. For Trump, the stock market remains a barometer of success. As we've pointed out in the past, during his first term, the S&P 500 nearly surged 68%, boosted by corporate tax cuts and favorable Federal Reserve policies. Now he's promising even more essentially to the corporate space. But Trump's relationship with the market isn't without risk. His plans include sweeping tariffs targeting both allies and advertisers. Economists warn that these moves could raise prices for American businesses and consumers. I'll be honest, the economists that are coming out and saying Trump's tariffs are going to ruin America are talking out their ass. They're just Democrats that are just, burned because OnlyFans Kamala Harris lost the race. Still, the president insists the long-term gains will essentially weigh the short-term pain. This is going to be a country like no other, he said, with a smirk. While Wall Street is familiar territory, Trump's focus on crypto was a major pivot. He's determined to push the US to the forefront of blockchain innovation. With the crypto-loving Senator Cynthia Luminous standing firmly in his corner, Luminous told the community, America won the space race. Now America must win the Bitcoin race. She then promised Trump that she will be willing to do everything she could to help him achieve his crypto ambitions. Meanwhile, former Bitcoin hater and New York Stock Exchange legend Jimmy Cramer was all smiles as he interviewed Trump at the event. He was the one who was asked him those cryptos-related questions, confirming his newfound love for crypto, which started a few weeks ago. Trump's New York Stock Exchange appearance was spectacular. Alongside him were key cabinet picks, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Health Secretary and North Dakota Governor Doug Berman for the Interior Department. And Wall Street titans like Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, and Pershing Square Bill's Ackman were also attendees there. Ackman praised Trump's pro-business stance, saying that the more successful businesses are, the more the wages rise. Keywords here. As I said previously, corporate tax cuts are a good thing for the retail section. When companies don't pay taxes to the government, companies have more money to spend within the company to pay higher wages, to do bonuses. But when companies have to pay high taxes to the governments, that money ends up in Ukraine and Zelensky's pockets. So, Kamala Harris's campaign about, Trump wants to help the American corporates, Trump wants to help the billion-dollar organizations, was Kamala Harris's campaign. But, Kamala Harris has an IQ of a goldfish. Or she's just playing stupid, or, not being stupid, but trying to act smart because her followers are not that bright. But anyways, as I said previously, corporate taxes are a good thing, because when companies don't pay high taxes to governments, that means that company has more money to spend within the company, to pay more wages, to hire more people, to do bonuses. But when companies have to pay high taxes, that money ends up going into the Biden administration's pocket, which ends up in Zelensky's pocket in Ukraine. Which also means that that company ends up firing people because they're paying high taxes. When companies pay high taxes, they end up firing people. They ended up, going bankrupt. So many things can happen which damage an economy. But when companies pay lower taxes, they have more money to spend within the company, hire more people, give more wages, and so on. So it's a good thing when companies pay lower taxes. Not a bad thing. But the media, the CNBC or The View, all these moronic news channels will tell you companies paying less taxes, that's bad for the little guy. That's great for the little guy. Because the little guy gets a bonus when he goes home. Not fired when he goes home. So, there's also what I've been saying for a while regarding the whole campaign and so on. But what I said a while ago is just said. The same words that I said are now said by Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, in front of Trump, said, the more successful businesses are, the more the wages will rise. Wall Street, essentially. But Trump's proposal comes at a time when markets are already on edge. We've seen the S&P 500 climb since the election, driven by optimism over his tax cuts and promises. But some economists are worried about this hardline approach could backfire, but his supporters see it as a bold move to protect the American interests. The economists that are coming forward, essentially, the economists that are coming forward and saying that, Trump's essentially campaign is going to, the tariffs is going to ruin American lives and so on. Oh, China out their arse. Every single one of them. Complete lies. Even as Trump avoided telling investors to buy stocks outright, his bullish tone was unmistakable. I don't want to say that, and then we have a dip or something. he told Jimmy. So that was Mr. Trump walking essentially into Wall Street and telling everybody we're about to make some money. So the next news, moving on essentially from Trump's bullish movements, walking into Wall Street and telling them how it is. Let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into Charles Schwab's news and Coinbase news, and then we got RL USD news. Okay, let's see what's going on inside the comment section, and we go straight into that. So let's see where we are inside the comment section. But honestly, amazing news with Trump walking into Wall Street and putting it how it is. We're about to make a lot of money because of Trump. Everybody inside the crypto space, if you're positioned well, the amount of money you're going to be making from Trump is going to be absolutely ballistic. Let's see what's inside the comment section before we go through the Charles Schwab's news and the RL USD news. Miles, nope, I was here. Miles is advisable to no. Okay, we were here. Miles is the king. Let's go, Sam, for the kind words. Any new news on RL USD going live? Yes, we're going to talk about that towards the end. Miles is the GOAT. Let's go, CMF. Let's go, Scott. Miles, is advisable to have more coins portfolio or just have XRP, HBAR, XDC? Those are good ones to go. Some Shelly says same. I say thank God for Trump, but I also say thank God, Miles. I owe everything to you for teaching me about the space, Miles. Much appreciated. Shelly, thank you so much for the kind words, Shelly. Appreciate it lots. Miles, I do have a Binance account. I took your advice about a year ago, signed up with multiple exchanges. Let's go, Joe. Moreover, forever great, full of your knowledge, Miles. Ripple, thanks so much for the kind words as well. Miles, the news is good, but when you answer questions and you just give your opinion on things, you give us tons of your knowledge. We learn so much. Thank you so much, Ghost Runner, for the kind words as well. What price will ACH reached in the bull ring? Your value, consider variable change. What's up, brother Miles? Billo, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Did I miss any XRP news? No, we're gonna go towards the end. Jim Creamer doesn't really know much. Yeah, I know. Bro, I did message you in WhatsApp. Look at tomorrow if you can. Billo, I'll take a look, no problem. Ukraine just got 30 billion for arms. HBAR hidden gem. HBAR is a great project. Bro, did you see what happens in Holland? They advise everyone to keep cash money for a blackout cyber attack. I haven't heard that, no. Holland's going for a blackout cyber attack? I haven't heard that whatsoever. Crazy. What do you think about it? That is crazy that Holland's going to go for a blackout cyber attack. I need to look onto how does this correlate on the timeline for CBDCs. Is Holland getting close to the CBDC launch? Is that why they're going to have a blackout? Or their banking system is going to get updated? There's a bigger reason behind the whole blackout if it is going to have a blackout. What do you think about? That's what I think about it. Miles, data does not support that lower taxes mean higher wages for workers. I agree that lower taxes gives honest companies an opportunity to support their workers better. Yes. Banks, really no way. Do you think Tether will be a big crash in the market? Let's say XRP is €3. When Tether collapses, which price will XRP be and why? If Tether crashes, will XRP go lower or any crypto asset go lower? Yes, depending on how much money is spinning inside them. So let's just say your question is based on XRP. So let's say, RL USD is launched because we need it to be launched. RL USD is launched and now it's spinning inside of XRP. A lot of RL USD is backing XRP. If Tether crashes, then it wouldn't really affect RL USD that much. Obviously, every crypto asset will be affected if USDT ever depegs and crashes, because the majority of money spinning inside of the majority of crypto assets is USDT. So USDT crashes, then obviously it's going to have an impact, like a ripple effect inside the whole crypto space. However, if RL USD is launched and RL USD is backing majority of XRP inside the market space, then that's okay. We'll feel the impact, but not that much. So RL USD is actually going to save XRP from crashing if ever USDT crashes and depegs. Yes, Zach is real. Bill, that's crazy though, regarding Holland going through a blackout. Holland just, okay, employee, don't do that. I wrote a white paper on the glass. I wrote a white paper on the glass ceiling and looked at the data. It happens, but not overwhelmingly. Now banks collapse. I think World War III is coming. World War III is never going to happen. Many wars will come. It's possible, yes. Wars will come, yes. World War III is never going to happen. 2025, ching ching. Let's go, Brad. Facts. Shelley, thank God Trump won, and also thank God for Miles. Let's go, Ray. Do you think $7 is too cheap to sell for XRP? Yes. Way too cheap. Honestly. Now, Coinbase. Coinbase will overtake Charles Schwab's by 2025, apparently. News essentially coming, perspective coming from Bitwise, a prominent crypto asset management firm, has projected that Coinbase, a leading cryptocurrency exchange based inside the United States, will become more valuable than Charles Schwab's by 2025. This forecast underscores the expanding role of Coinbase in the financial landscape, particularly in cryptocurrency trading and investment domains. I'll be honest, if Coinbase is ranking higher than Charles Schwab's, it really does show you how much money is about to be entering the crypto space, and how much this whole America becoming the capital hub and Trump becoming president is going to be bringing so much amount of money. You don't even know how to essentially count it. You're going to lose count of how much money you're going to be making because of Trump. How much? It's just crazy. Bitwise experts point to Charles Schwab's management of $7 trillion in assets as the benchmark for how Coinbase can excel in brokerage services. Coinbase stands as a parent company for US-based ETFs, and as Coinbase Prime Service is employed by the US Department of Justice for custodial tasks. The forecast appears credible given the influx of billions into ETFs and the expected surge essentially into share prices. According to Bitwise, Coinbase's growth can be essentially attributed to three main factors: operations involving the USDC stablecoin, the Ethereum-based scaling solution known as Base, and enhanced staking and custody services. Notably, Coinbase's stablecoin activities have seen a boost of around $162 million, representing 31% increase in the beginning of the year. Key insights also include Coinbase shares have dramatically increased from $35 to $344 in 2023. Forecasts suggesting Coinbase shares could exceed $700 by 2025. And Coinbase's revenue essentially is bolstered by stablecoin operations and innovation staking services. The anticipated growth of Coinbase is further supported by positive trends in the cryptocurrency sector, and the rise of USDC achievements within Ethereum's networks are likely to enhance Coinbase's market presence. Additionally, the expansion of staking and custody services is boosting the company's financial stability and making it an attractive option for potential growth-oriented investments. So, Coinbase taking over Charles Schwab's, it definitely shows how much money is going to be entering the crypto space if that happens, which in most cases it will. A long time ago, I said Coinbase will become the #1 crypto exchange in the world because America will make it that way. And I also said Ripple, XRP, will become the #1 backing asset in the world for domestic and international payments. Because one, Ripple is an American company, and two, so is Coinbase, which means Coinbase will become the biggest crypto exchange in the world, and Ripple will become, well, you know what, the biggest also, alongside Coinbase. Now, on the topic of RL USD. RL USD, Ripple Labs mints another 1 million RL USD. Launch tomorrow, question mark. So #1 topic right now inside the crypto space, especially if you're inside the XRP space, is RL USD getting launched tomorrow or the day after or the day after? The easiest way to put it is Brad said, he's going to be the one that tells everyone when it's going to be happening. So Ripple Labs has completed the minting of 1 million RL USD tokens, signaling a pivotal move towards the launch of its highly anticipated dollar-pegged stablecoin. This development follows the approval of the New York Department of Financial Services this week. The NYDFS granted Ripple the green light to introduce RL USD, as I said previously, a compliant alternative in the competitive stablecoin sector. Today, the blockchain firm Ripple minted another 640,000 RL USD tokens on the Ethereum mainnet, according to on-chain data. In addition, Ripple also minted 160,000 tokens on the XRP Ledger network, and thereafter it completed minting another $100,000 RL USD tokens on each Ethereum and the XRP Ledger. Now, they are also expecting the RL USD stablecoin to launch tomorrow, or as late as next week. Earlier sharing the NYDFS updates, Ripple's CEO Brad reaffirmed the company's dedication to transparency and market readiness. When RL USD is live, you'll hear it from Ripple first, he said, noting that exchanges and partner listings for the stablecoin would be reevaluated shortly. The regulatory approval from NYDFS ensures RL USD complies with stringent legal requirements, enabling its operations within the New York's robust financial framework. Prior to this, Ripple conducted extensive testings on RL USD on XRP Ledger and Ethereum's blockchain, preparing the stablecoin for its official rollout. For further context, RL USD is crafted to serve as a fully compliant dollar-pegged stablecoin backed by cash reserves and short-term cash equivalents. To enhance transparency, Ripple plans to conduct independent audits regularly and release monthly collateral reports. The position RL USD as more secure and over-collateralized alternative compared to popular stablecoins like USDC and USDT. Ripple also integrated XRP to boost RL USD's liquidity and ensure rapid transaction settlements, which is something everybody wanted to hear about that. Ripple has also integrated XRP to boost RL USD's liquidity and ensure rapid transaction settlements. The company's executives have emphasized leveraging Ripple's existing blockchain infrastructure to support the stablecoin scalability and performance. Ripple has partnered with key players inside the crypto space to ensure RL USD's market's reach. Collaboration includes exchanges such as Uphold, Bitso, MoonPay, Independent Reserves, CoinMina, and Bullish. These alliances aim to provide RL USD with extensive market exposures and essentially smooth integrations into various financial ecosystems. And Brad also highlighted the importance of compliance, noting the NYDFS approvals reflects Ripple's adherence to legal and essentially regulatory standards. With RL USD, Ripple seeks to deliver a reliable and compliant product that meets the evolving needs of both institutional and retail users in the rapidly growing stablecoin market space. So, if you ever wanted to know, is XRP playing a role in RL USD? By the looks of it, yes, it is playing a role inside of RL USD. Amazing news. And are we getting close to Ripple's launch of RL USD? Yes, we're actually getting very close to their launch. There's a prediction going around tomorrow or within a week. Is basically what's going to be happening. What we do know is it has to be this month. So, incredible, by the way. All good things must come to an end, which they have now. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this was the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And you can tune into this live Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time. 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time, Monday to Friday, where I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world, completely transforming into a digital space. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. Also, I just want to say thanks so much to everyone that's been watching these lives, because we are on episode 222 right now. This is episode 222 of the CMF Live, which is incredible. Episode 222 we're on right now. Episode 223 is going to be tomorrow. So if you did follow me during this live, thank you so much to everyone that followed me, subscribed to me, retweeted, liked, shared, comment. If you already haven't, do it. Subscribe, follow, retweet, like, share, comment. If you watch us on X, if you watch us on YouTube, join the Telegram page of this live. If you can't find it, message me. Crypto Mouse Family, one word. And join the X communities page of this live as well. If you already haven't, if you're watching this on X, join the X communities page. Crypto Mouse Family Lounge is the X communities page for this live. It's on my X profile. Let's go inside the comment section first before we go. Let's see what's going on here. Instead of USDT crashing, is there a scenario of a slow transition from USDT to RL USD? Yes, there's definitely a scenario of a transition happening as well. It's one of the outcomes I laid out a very long time ago. They are not saying it loudly, and it will be a blackout. Well, all the signs means that it will. And why they say keep cash money. The banks hates people to keep cash money. True. So I think there will be a blackout, but not only in Holland, in the whole of EU, maybe it's a possibility. But if XRP is €3 and USDT collapses, what will the price of XRP be around? If it's just USDT spinning inside of it, it will lower it. I don't know what price will go down to, but it will lower it quite a bit, actually. Dutch Banking Association advised customers keep cash at home in case of cyber attack. Patricia, thanks so much for letting me know as well. And Bill, thanks so much for letting me know as well regarding the whole hacking situation, cyber attack in Holland. Any idea when RL USD is going to go live, Miles? This month. It should do. I'm truly grateful for all you share for us effortlessly, Miles. Have a wonderful night all. Lena, thank you so much for the kind words. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Thanks for amazing live. Let's go, Camel. Camel, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual, brother. Great live. Take care, Miles and CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. Great live, Miles, as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. Thanks, Miles. See you tomorrow, CMF. Let's go, Mickey. Mickey, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Thank you, Miles. Good night and see you tomorrow night. Mike, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Thanks, Legend. Your insight is amazing. Night and day to all CMF. Shelly, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Thanks as always, Miles. Take care of CMF. Ghostman, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Brilliant live, as always, Miles. We appreciate everything you do for us. Joe, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Thanks as always, Miles. Take care of CMF. Ghostman, see you tomorrow, same as usual. Caroline and Carol, good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Carol. Good evening, Morad. See you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. Peg, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Good night, Miles. Callie, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Good night, Miles and CMF. Orphan, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Is it true that the price will rise up to $100? It is true, yes. Not overnight, over time. Comatose, see you tomorrow, same as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. CMF, take care. Be safe. Let's go, Ripple. See you tomorrow, same as usual as well. So, we've reached the endings of tonight's live. Thanks so much, Miles. Good night, CMF. Stormy, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. I will be seeing everybody tomorrow. By the way, if you have liked, comment, share, subscribe, follow, thank you so much. For everyone that's retweeted this live, liked, comment, subscribe, follow, thank you so much to everyone. I will be seeing everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. Thanks so much, Miles. Good night. Stormy, see you tomorrow. Scott, see you tomorrow. Thanks, Miles. Scott, let's go. Great news, and thanks always. Mav, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Harry, good night. All Harry, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. Good night, bro. Look you up. I will. Let's go, Billo. Billo, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. See everyone tomorrow, same time as usual. 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. See you tomorrow.